Good morning, everybody. Hope you're well on this Saturday morning. My name's James. You're watching Game Week 5 Deadline stream live. As per usual, YouTube doesn't allow links to be sent out until video seems to be ready. That seems to be how my life's working at the moment, so I'm just going to share the stream. I've already fucked up once this morning. If you're thinking, James, you're a bit late this morning, well, there's a very, very good reason for that, actually. So I've already been streaming for a couple of minutes, but I didn't realise the video was on private. I was like, fuck, where's all my listeners? Just sitting there talking to myself for a couple of minutes going, where is everybody? So yeah, just going to send a link out. Many of you who are on Twitter will have already seen the insane thing that I've done with my team, which you can see top right hand corner on the graphics as provided by my man FPL Captain, top left on the graphics. So over a week ago, I took a -4 to remove Bruno Fernandes for Heung-min Son. My plan was to leave it at that. I was going to captain Kevin De Bruyne today. I had no qualms about the injury doubts. I thought, look, this is just fatigue. I'm not overly concerned. So, obviously, Pep did the unusual and actually ruled him out yesterday. And I thought, shit, I've got a big fucking problem here. So, Wildcard obviously was something that could have been played. I am convinced that I should hold on to it, and as much as I'm doing very badly at the moment, I feel like holding on is the right thing to do. And also, if I'd wildcarded, I would have had no real identity or clue of what I wanted that wildcard to be, because there are a lot of things still up in the air that I don't know about. Therefore, I've taken a big gamble. For those who watched my stream yesterday, I said there were a number of players under consideration and really didn't know what I was going to do. I thought about it after the stream, and once I considered the prospect of Gareth Bale properly, I decided that's what I was going to do. Call it mad, call it insane. He may not even start, but I know if it goes wrong this week, I'm still going to look at those 3 Spurs players next week and go, yeah, okay, I've got 3 more good fixtures of this. It also allows me to put the armband on Harry Kane. That's the part that takes it to a -8. It's in for Danny Ings. I think Danny Ings will score this week, by the way. But I think Kane is a better captaincy choice on this particular week than Heung-min Son. And that's what's forced me in. Plus, as I said, the team's doing badly at the moment. So I know a lot of people wildcard at the moment are going to go Son and Kane. I've decided I'm going to go for the treble up. We will find out in 4 weeks' time if it works or not. Tomorrow is going to be a tough game for Tottenham. Genuinely, seriously. That's why if you look in the bottom right-hand corner on the graphic at the moment, genuinely, I said this on the stream yesterday, and I really do believe that Timo Werner is the best captaincy choice this week. It's on the assumption that he'll play through the middle against Southampton, and I really think he's a great choice. And those who have probably been, oh, I've got to sell, I don't think this is the right week to do it. I really don't. Raheem Sterling, presumably, we got news late last night that he should be okay to play for, so he's the outstanding choice for Man City in a good home fixture. Then Kane's Son. Salah, you can put the armband on in any game, but it's a tough game at Everton. I favour Marcus Rashford over Bruno Fernandes, purely on the basis of Martial suspended, Cavani obviously out with COVID. So I think that United might play a diamond today, and I think if that's the case, Rashford will play through the middle. That's why I favour that. We had Mahrez off as an alternative from Manchester City, obviously Mane at Liverpool as well. And Christian Pulisic, if I didn't have concerns over his fitness, would be a lot higher up. Anybody who's thinking about getting Gareth Bale in, it's the same risk as Pulisic, probably even worse, because Pulisic did at least have a substitute appearance against Palace 2 weeks ago. Do not put that armband on Gareth Bale. Genuinely, he might not even start, but I've gone with it as part of a 4-game week plan. That's what I'm doing. I know a lot of people hate it, but that's what I'm doing. Let's get into questions, see what's going on this morning. We'll make this fast paced for you guys. Edwin Guan first in says hello. Good morning, mate. The Emerald Pilot. Good morning, James. I have defensive headaches. I'm playing 3-4-3. TAA plays, but not sure about second and third spot. Contenders are James, Saiss, Lamptey, and Mitchell even. Reece James, you've got to play. If he doesn't play, he doesn't play. Mitchell, I think, will come out the Palace team. I think Van Aanholt will come in, but obviously you could start him. Doesn't make any difference either way. I would probably go Saiss there as well, although I'd slightly favour Brighton for a clean sheet over Wolves slightly. Not an easy call, but definitely Reece James, mate. Kartik Rouse says, who to bench and what order? Mitrovic, he plays. Cole Walker-Peters, Saiss, Taylor, Bissouma. Charlie Taylor I'd play this week, West Bromwich Albion away. So that's leaving you a bench of, in order of, Sayis, Bissouma, Cole Walker-Peters. Lewis C, morning James, good luck this week. Would you start Podence or Click? Probably Matthias Click, actually. Simon says, Sun captain versus West Ham, a good pick. Yep, absolutely decent, mate. A lot of people are going to be on Sonny this week, and obviously I have no issues with that personally. It's going to be a tough game. I'm telling you honestly, there's going to be so many people captaining Spurs this game week who might end up disappointed. And I won't be one of them. I know tomorrow is going to be probably the most difficult of the 4 games coming up. And as I've said previously, I'm happy to have those 3 Spurs players on the other side for the upcoming 3 fixtures, which I believe, certainly from an attacking sense at least, are better. Pushkar says, I've talked myself into a wild card. Just want one suggestion. Best 4 million pick right now, Mitchell or Kilman. Pushkar, it doesn't matter. Neither of them going to fucking play, mate. Lucky Pens, why Bale? Because it makes me happy. Edwin Graham, Podence out for Grealish for -4. Yeah, don't mind that, but 2 good fixtures for Podence after this one, worth bearing in mind. Sounds a little bit trigger because of obviously what Grealish did in game week 4, but I can't argue the merits of Jack Grealish obviously being a very good choice at the moment. I can't argue that. He was certainly under consideration for me as a De Bruyne replacement. And Villa are high on my priority list to get sorted for next week. My planned move, my priority for me for game week 6 would be to remove Chris Wood. Didn't want to remove him this week playing West Bromwich Albion. And then coming to Tottenham, Chelsea. It'd be sod's law he scores against Tottenham, but I think that's the right time to then move it on. And Ollie Watkins would probably be the front runner to come in for that. The alternative is to go Brewster, take another -4, and then I think I'd get Grealish in. Looking further ahead, it's Jimenez to Antonio, and then that gives me the gateway back to Kevin De Bruyne. That's kind of part of my thinking at the moment. Anmol says, Grealish for captaincy, Leicester missing players. I've seen a few mentioning this. It's okay. I don't hate it. I mean, I don't think that's the best choice out there this week, but it is a very difficult week. And obviously Leicester were shit against West Ham. Villa were great against Liverpool. There will be worse choices made this week, that's for sure. FPL telling Josh, morning James, good luck with the game week, mate. Loving your moves and triple Spurs attack. For me, I pulled -4 this week. KDB, Podence to Sun, Grealish, good luck. Miller Marsh, I'm at a stubborn stage with Werner. He's staying in until he returns. I wouldn't necessarily do that. I think next week looks good if you want to take him out. I genuinely think he's a brilliant option this week. I seriously thought of buying him. But my decision not to buy him and buy Kane rather than Werner, to explain, was kind of what I said. Spurs' fixtures for the next 4. Kane/Son giving me captaincy, possibly even Bale, giving me good captaincy coverage up until game week 9 or so. I think that's okay to go down that route. Werner, I think, best option this week, but I couldn't look ahead and see the captaincy in him. And I probably would have wanted to move next week. Manchester United could be a different beast now they've taken that hiding. So I decided not to do it because I think it would have then given me another problem, which I don't need further down the line. But I think for those on Wildcard, I was listening to Az and Mark and Andy on Black Box last night. Absolutely brilliant. And as is on Wildcard, was talking about, obviously, he's got rid of Werner, but now has activated his Wildcard. And I'm thinking, do you know what, mate? If you've got the 1 week to get rid, I'd get rid. Personally, if I was on a Wildcard, my front 3 would be Kane, Maupay and Brewster, and I'd fill up that midfield. That would be the way I'd go. But I completely understand if anyone was on a Wildcard, they went, I've got a plan to get rid of Timo Werner. I'd be okay with that. FPL Cobbler, morning mate, thoughts on Man United assets, just got a feeling they've reached a point where they're about to crash but then hit back. Yeah, kind of as I've said, could well do. I mean, I don't know how they're going to line up today. That would be the number one thing. Then it's Chelsea and Arsenal. It's not a brilliant run of fixtures. Then it's Everton. So it's a tough run. I think for United, it's come back and revisit before they play West Brom in game week 9. That's my feeling. Rob Pick has a Sky question. Lamptey or White if price not an issue? Probably just Ben White for me, Rob, I would say. For me, I've gone Lamptey because I think the 0.3 is going to be particularly handy actually in terms of my plan of moving to Jimenez to De Bruyne after Wolves play Palace in game week 7. But I think, yeah, if it's not an issue, probably Ben White, but you need to consider the further issues down the line. And it's very close, so I think you should probably still go with a cheaper one. Donna Boyles in, said, morning James, thanks for the brilliant content. You're very welcome, Donna. I hope all's well. Shane Mibb, should I swap Zaha for Grealish for -4? So these embargoed quotes from everyone says, oh, what's an embargo? Yeah, it's when media news gets released at like 11 o'clock on a Friday night. I would expect Wilfried Zaha to play tomorrow. Personally, if he's 70-80% fit, he plays. He's got a great run of fixtures coming up. Palace have a really, really good run up to sort of like game week 12 when they play Tottenham, and you could argue it's decent for the rest of 2020 actually. So I'd probably hold, but Wilfried Zaha is a scary player to own. He will almost definitely disappoint. It's worth saying from Blackbox last night as well, Mark said that he would seriously consider Zaha as a punt for next week. They've got Fulham next week, Crystal Palace. Simon Portal said, will Werner play right up or forward? Well, that's my thinking, that Werner plays right up. And if I've got that wrong, then Timo Werner should drop a long way down that captaincy list. It's worth saying the regular viewers here will know my record of picking captains is not good. So make your own decisions. Benny Blanco says, morning James, thanks for the late night Sky advice. Who do you think starts today, Aurea or Doherty? Neither, mate. Tomorrow, I would say, should be Serge Aurier. I genuinely don't know which one plays, but I know that Serge Aurier deserves another game following his performance at Manchester United. So from that alone, I hope that Aurier plays. Matt Doherty needs to improve on what I've seen so far. Ray Guna says, on Captain Werner, his last chance in my team. Good luck. Good luck, Ray. TJ Dara, hey James, what's your thoughts on Joe Ronan? As a Swansea fan, I nearly cried. Trevor Birch has got him at a steal, in my opinion. Take care of him for us. Truthfully, all I've seen him so far is 45 minutes play for Wales against England. And he didn't overly impress. But then it was difficult circumstances for Wales that night. So for me to comment further, I'd just be bullshitting, mate. So I don't at the moment, till I've seen him. Chris Tellez, morning James, don't have any questions, wanted to wish you luck for the game week, thanks mate. Sujan Shah is in the chat, says morning James. Suj, I know you sent me a photo, but I ain't got time to look at it, mate. Addy Tour, is it worth bringing in Werner for one game as don't have a good captain choice? If you've got no other problems in your team, absolutely, get it done. Do you have no other problems in your team? Edwin Grand says start Reece James. I think, look, if you've got Reece James, you've got to start him, and then if you don't play, don't play. It is what it is. You know the risk. We spoke about this at length on Clash to Correspondence on Thursday with Rotation FPL, and he said, look, at the moment, his opinion, James, Azpilicueta, Chilwell, bad options because this is going to happen. And every week you're going to have this problem. Plus, you can't trust them enough defensively, so there's not going to be many clean sheets at the moment till it's sorted anyway. But if you've got... And that, they're fine because they could potentially have brilliant attacking output, by the way. It's kind of like where I'm at with Trent and Robbo at the moment. So it's all right. You've got to play them. You've got to play them and accept it will be what it will be. Rickwick 998. 1998. No, didn't wildcard, mate. -8. Pushcast says, with price not an issue, who do you prefer between Click, Souček, Podence, Neto or Alan St. Maximin? The answer is very simple. It's Thomas Souček, mate. Shamil Galani, felt like some punts. Did KDB and Burt, Pulisic and Rashford? Captain Rashford, I don't hate it. Eric Solly, morning James. What can be a good option to rotate with Brewster for 6 million in the bank? Is Trossard too expensive to use as a rotation option? I don't think you're going to have a rotation option with Brewster, to be honest. I don't treat Ryan Brewster as a rotation option when you don't know right now if he's going to be starting regularly or not. So I wouldn't even think that way. You'd be better off, rather than going for like the 6 million of a Trossard rotation or something like that. Genuinely, you'd be better off targeting someone cheaper, like Thomas Souček at 4.9 million, and using that 1.1 million somewhere else, and making week-to-week decisions. That's what I think would be the best thing to do. Patrick Lawson, my team is an utter disaster. Good luck, Patrick. Another Hoops, morning mate. Why do you think Kane is a better captain choice than Son? I have both players and I'm not sure who to put the armband on. Kane, historical record in London derbies. The fact that he can score from anywhere. The fact that he's on pens. It's going to be a tight game. Sonny tends to struggle a bit more in these type of fixtures when we're playing against the back five, which I assume West Ham will line up that way, and it's as simple as that. Genuinely, I could sit here before the Burnley game and captain Son over Kane. This particular fixture, I think Harry Kane over Heung-min Son. I will be delighted if Heung-min Son gets a hat-trick and Harry Kane gets one, by the way. As a very tricky week, a week I planned to wildcard but held off. A lot of players feel like they're on last chances. Chris Bradley, morning James, absolutely love your transfers, best of luck. Thank you Chris, good luck. I can't believe that I'm sure that everybody does fucking hate it, really. You can tell me. Yulogul, excuse me, flapping this morning. Never flap before a deadline, my friend. Sticking with my decision last night. Excuse me, come on, son. And I'm a gooner. Tell you what, you never catch me saying similar things about fucking Aubameyang, mate, but cheers. At all, I'm just going for a Sterling captaincy here. Seems fun option. Captain Salah or Sonny would just feel like part of the crowd. My rank is 3.5 and it doesn't matter if it gets worse. Good luck. Yologul is don't put things in the chat, mate, when it's dangerous. He's put Pulisic is starting 100%. What that happens then when you put things like that in the chat is people take it as literal. And I think we know that's not literal at the moment. William Jones, hi James, hope you're okay, mate. Have made for what it's worth, I'd say Pulisic is about 95% at the start. Have made a -8 as well. What do you make of these moves? Doesn't matter what I think of them, William. You've already made them, mate. KDB, Mahrez, Podence to Son, Pulisic, Grealish, -8. Yeah, fine. Black Box is in. Morning, James. How close were you to swapping Soucek in your starting 11? Wasn't. I'm probably not going to, whether that's Mark or Az, morning, lads. I'm probably not going to start him until the game week 8 fixture comes round. But I know Mark's obviously very strong on his feelings on Soucek, and I feel the same. Like, he could go to 4.8 and I still won't sell him, wouldn't be bothered. So, matter of time. It could be that next week I might feel differently if Pereira's still sitting there. Pereira away to West Brom. But then Soucek against City and Liverpool coming up. Do I feel any better about it? Nah, probably not. So, at the moment, I'm happy for him to sit on the bench. If I miss the points, and also look at it and go, do you know what? If he does return and I miss it, I'm going to be getting the value back on him. So, it would be no particular bad thing. Anmol says, Grealish for captaincy. I don't hate it, mate. Pushcard, do Kane's set-piece duties come under threat with Bale in squad? Free kicks and penalties. Penalties is no threat whatsoever. There's not many better penalty takers than Harry around, so that's no concern. Free kicks, you would presume that Bale would take plenty, but then Kane doesn't take all of them anyway. We've seen Eric Dyer even take a few so far this season and the back end of last season. So in terms of Kane's threat, Bale coming in the door is better for Kane. It's quite simple. Jack Shepherd, if Doherty doesn't start, I have just 2 starting defenders. Is it worth a -4 to change him? I'm guessing not. Chance for defender getting 4+ isn't high. To be honest, Jack, can you work around one of the other defenders, cheaper options, or have you stuck there with like fucking Mitchell and Douglas or some shit like that, mate? It's not worth the -4, no, because if he plays, then ironically there wouldn't actually be many better defensive options this week. So I think you probably got to suffer it, mate. Ashader, is Vardy playing? I don't know, mate. My name's not Brendan Rodgers, but he is a doubt. Dread FPL, Pulisic captain. Don't hate it, mate. It's certainly a risk, but I don't hate it. Another Hoops mentioned this to Joe on Slack, but I think you should have gone triple West Ham instead of Spurs. Yeah, it would have been Antonio, Soucek and Masuaku, I suppose. Ritwick says, Werner and Rodriguez out for Brewster and Salah, 2 free transfer, -4. Let's just keep Werner and Rodriguez, mate. He's cool. Joe Friendly Batter on Wildcard, Saiss and Soucek, or Semedo and Bissouma. It's always going to be the Soucek answer for me, Joe. Although I think Semedo, just in isolation, will probably prove a better choice than Saiss, but it may take a little bit of time. Ronan Megan, hi James, who are you considering if you decide to move away from Foden next game week? Best of luck, love the triple Spurs. Well, I'm probably not. That was the original intention, was once obviously rotation hits in a bit harder, that to move on from Foden following the Arsenal game. But if De Bruyne's still out, it might be that it's okay. I can in one move. I've got 1.9 million in the bank. I can go from Foden to Pulisic in one move. It might be that I decide to go Foden down to something cheaper, oddly enough, and rework the team that week. So my priority ahead of next game week would probably not be Foden. It would probably be removing Chris Wood, actually. Alden Bjerk says, good morning, James. Who'd start, Ayling or Lamptey? It's not an easy one. Not an easy one. I'd probably go Ayling. That's really tough, that one. Brighton Leeds this week. Oddly enough, I think the clean sheet for Brighton is probably slightly higher. When we did our predictions on Patreon yesterday, I predicted 1-1 the Leeds game and 2-0 to Brighton, if that helps you at all. But I think it's really, really close. Really close. Those 2 results could very easily be the other way around. I guess on my predictions, I should say Lamptey, shouldn't I? Juck says Grealish for Podence or Wilson for Brewster as transfers. Probably Grealish for Podence would be the preference there. If you've got Ryan Brewster in already, why are you suddenly going to move off? I don't get that. Elliot says, is the risk too high to captain Pulisic? Yeah, I mean, if you've got any of them other options I've listed, I think yes. Yeah, it probably is. He could come off after 55 minutes, right? That's the point. I think the majority of us think he'll start, but he could be the first make weight to give Ziyech 30 or 35 minutes, right? So I think, yes, it probably is a risk too far. If you don't have any of them other 9 players, then I'd stick the armband on him. Fuck it. Andy Cairns, good to see someone playing FPL for the right reasons, enjoying it, James. You know me, Andy. What am I worried about this week? Am I worried about my Spurs players flopping? No, I'm worried about Tottenham not beating West Ham. FPL Badger, hey mate, debating a -4 KDB to Sterling or Pulisic. Faults? Yeah. Get done, I think, Mark. Kartik Rao, should I do Mitrovic to Aguero? Unthinkable move. Mitrovic to Aguero? You can do that in one move. That's interesting, isn't it? I'll tell you what the one benefit of that is, a little bit like with me and, say, Bale. If it fails, okay, it still looks great next week, moving forward, with City having West Ham and Sheffield United afterwards. Personally, Sergio Aguero would be of no interest to me at the moment. And Mitrovic has 3 good games, you know. Sheffield United, Palace, West Brom. It's one of the reasons why I didn't want to start with Mitrovic. I knew he'd end up fucking sitting there for ages. Joe Finley Batter, also Grealish and Maupay with a weak bench or Trossard and Watkins with a strong bench. Say that again, Joe. Grealish and Maupay with a weak bench or Trossard and Watkins with a strong playing bench. Personally, at the moment, I prefer strong. Personally. But I think many of the experienced FPL players, should we say, of which I don't fucking claim to be one, will probably go weaker on the bench. I prefer having that cover. For me, all day long, I'd rather pay the Souček than have a 4.4 million. That's if I need to find 0.5, that's not where I'm going to go and find it, for example. So I'd prefer something stronger. We're coming into winter. It's getting colder. I think it will take something seriously bad for Premier League games to be postponed. But, perfect example, look at my team top right. Trent Alexander-Arnold, vice-captain. It's just to be safe, not to have captain and vice-captain in the same game. I don't think there's any doubt that Harry Kane plays tomorrow, unless he picks up a training injury today, which would be ridiculously unlucky, but could happen. But with that in mind, yeah, I've almost gone with the chances of, there's more chance of the whole Tottenham squad being struck down with COVID than Harry Kane not playing tomorrow. And that's why vice-captaincy, if anyone was wondering, is on Trent. I just think it's a sensible idea not to have captain and vice-captain from the same game at the moment. Obviously, Son, in theory, is the best vice-captain option in my team. But again, with that in mind, Joe, we're getting nearer winter, etc. I think strong bench at the moment. But make it a cheap strong bench. Oscar Featherstone, Lamptey and Justin or Cody and 4.5. Lamptey and Justin or Cody. Good luck with triples. I don't like either of them options. Connor Cody be great if he went up for corners like he did for England. Like he was going to score every time he went forward, which is bizarre. I know Bradley Parker, our Wolves correspondent, was saying, "Fucking hell, yeah, send him up for corners on that." But I don't like Cody as an FPL asset, so it'd have to be the other option, mate. Name's Stevens. Morning, James. I'm also tempted by Bale. Expect him to start. Yes, I do expect him to start. I think it's a great opportunity. Premier League game, home, 4:30 on Sunday. It's kind of the prime time of the Sunday games, if you will. The feel-good factor around my football club is off the charts at the moment, and it's all because of him. It's also because of a subtle tactical change that Jose Mourinho has made, by the way. And obviously the results help. But Gareth Bale has single-handedly lifted this football club. It will just be another lift for everybody again to see him in that team tomorrow. Obviously, I'm on the training ground. I can't see how fit he is or he isn't. And you shouldn't judge by some of these sexy training videos, which have looked like porn to me. You shouldn't judge from that, in all seriousness. I think he starts. I think if the game is won by the hour mark, he probably comes off. But I don't expect the game to be won by that point. Is it better then to use him as an impact substitute? But then does he need 15, 20 minutes to get into the feel of a game? I suspect he probably does. So I think he starts, personally. But it wouldn't surprise me if he was sub. It wouldn't surprise me. I wouldn't put his chance to start in this week as high as Pulisic. It's a massive gamble. I would put it 80 to 85%. I'd say I think he starts. I'll be surprised if I see the team tomorrow and he's not in it. Alex says, is Sterling likely to play? He still has a yellow flag. Do you think it's worth taking a -4 to move him on as City attack? Nah, keep him. I think he'll start, mate. I think the comments last night suggested play. Don't trust the fucking flags on FPL anyway. Do proper research. I mean, they decided for a 2-hour period in midweek, decided to unflag Edison Cavani for some reason, when Manchester United had confirmed the guy's in isolation, he's not going to play. So for 2 hours he was unflagged, and then they put him back on a red flag. Be careful. Like, FPL is not some gospel thing in terms of injury news, right? That's for people like Ben Dinnery. Scout's timeline is very good as well in terms of giving you information on team news, etc. I would have a run through that. They'll have the quotes on Sterling from last night. Definitely, I've seen that on Fantasy Football Scout's timeline. Antonio Gitter says, James on Wildcard and my head is exploding. Do I punt on Greenwood for a week or just risk Zaha now, even though he's a doubt? Yeah, Zaha, because even if he doesn't play this week, it's going to be touch or go. He's walking into Fulham next week. If you've got no other issues and you're definitely sure you'll be happy with your team next week, by all means punt on Greenwood, with the idea that he could play through the middle in a 4-4-2 diamond formation for Manchester United. But equally, it could be a 4-4-2 diamond and Igalo plays and Greenwood doesn't even play. Or it could be that Rashford goes for the middle and they alter the system and it's a 4-3-2-1 and Fernandes and Van der Beek play behind the front man. So no, this isn't a week to gamble on Manchester United assets, in my opinion. And Andy said it brilliantly on Black Box last night as well. And Andy's obviously a United fan. He's like, look at the fucking fixtures afterwards. Sod that. You don't want any of it. Vikram says, I've got Vardy, Mane and KDB with 2 free transfers. Vardy and KDB to Werner and Pulisic, or Mane and KDB to Salah and Son. Do you want to look at Werner and Pulisic in your team if it goes badly today and they have Manchester United away next week? You don't need to move Mane to Salah though. Mane, brilliant differential option at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool were to win today and Mane would outscore Salah. It feels like a Sadio Mane game. So the simple move is just KDB to Son, isn't it? Which is quite straightforward. Patrick Lawson, do you reckon Doherty will play? I've covered that one, Patrick. You probably would have heard it. Let's have a little rewind. You'd have 6.3 million to replace him, maybe with someone like Chilwell. You could be walking into the same problem, Patrick. I'd give it another week, I think. Anthony Gridley, morning mate, want a Wolves defender with upcoming fixtures. Only got enough for Marcao. False. Well, Marcao's been past fit, so suggest that he probably plays, but they bought this other fella, haven't they? Nori. I can't profess to know anything about him. I think Marcao did okay in the game against Sheffield United before injury. He has been past fit. Obviously, all the Wolves team had COVID tests yesterday, and no one's going to find out the results till the deadline's gone. So you should be cautious of that as well, particularly if you're selecting a Portuguese player. Shouldn't be a problem for Marcao, though. I don't hate that move, but it comes with a risk, obviously. As he said, as a Newcastle fan, I fear Bruno. As a Newcastle fan, you'll fear a lot of things, Azzy. We lack creativity in the middle of our team, and I feel he will be the difference between the two sides. The key in Manchester United games at the moment is not about their creativity or what they're doing. Can you outmaneuver Manchester United's energy in the middle of the pitch? That's why someone like Isaac Hayden, genuinely, is going to be really important to how that game goes tonight. Unless, of course, United switch system, which I think they might. I really think we might see a diamond from them tonight. Joe Finney Bader says, also for Sky, Jimenez or Son as a placeholder for KDB, have Kane already. Jimenez or Son as a placeholder for KDB, have Kane already. Well, Joe, I've got Kane, Son and Jimenez. And the plan is to go Jimenez to KDB after Wolves play Palace. And if KDB's not back, then it's moved to Calvert-Lewin or Ings and my fullbacks, and then it's Kane or Son to KDB sort of game week 9 or so. That's the plan at the moment. So in terms of a placeholder, it's really dependent, Joe. If you want to use Jimenez, you're going to get 3 captaincies out of him. You ask yourself, Raul Jimenez 3 captaincies versus Heung-min Son 3 games. Who scores more? There is your answer. Benny Blanco, differential team. Bench 1 of Foden, Barnes, Wilson or Maupay. That is fucking brutal, mate. Fucking hell. How you ended up with that, Ben? That's from our Patreon Slack channels, differential teams that we do. Oh my God, that's awful. Absolutely awful. Definitely not Maupay. He'd be first choice of the 4 there. It's probably Foden. Probably Foden. That's awful, mate. Antonio Gitto, which combo is best, do you think? Bale, Son, DCL or Zaha, Rodriguez, Kane? Antonio, there's so much going on there, mate. I'm not quite sure what the question is. Francis Bilardi, I have Sterling as captain this week. Good for you, mate. Good luck. Michael Quigley, morning man. On a wild card, Wood or Wilson this game week? Going to move whoever I choose DCL for game week 6. So 1 game week punt, yeah? Okay. Because I think Morpay is a better choice than both if affordable. But if you're coming off a 1 game week, I understand. Chris Wood, I think. Problem with Chris Wood is you never feel like he's going to get more than 1, but then you never feel like Burnley are going to score heavy, right? But if there was a game, it's West Brom Monday, right? I didn't want to sell Chris Wood before this fixture, so although I do want to sell him straight afterwards. So Chris Wood for me, Michael. Pushkar says, the times I've owned United assets, we are a train wreck, and as soon as I sell them, they go off. I've sold Bruno now. Oh, good, because I've captained him in Sky tonight. Reluctantly, by the way. Daniel Turner Lazaro, what news source do I consider to get late embargo news? Thanks, James. To be honest, Scout will report it, Daniel. Ben Dinnery as well will be on the case. So this is why I always scream about not making transfers. And every week I get someone after going, what do you mean embargo? It's why every week on a Friday I say, don't make transfers till after 11 o'clock. You get something fucking stupid comes out like that Zaha stuff last night. And it's all legit. And it's just because the written media's got hold of it rather than the TV media. And that's why we have to wait for it. And that's why on a Friday, unless deadlines that say 5:30, like it will be next week. What time's deadline next week? I don't know, but it's fucking earlier. It's about 6:30 maybe. My stream will be 5:30. Yes, I'll be doing it on Friday. I don't want to do my Ask James stream next week. I'll probably do it in the morning. That's why I wait. That's why I always wait. I only ever make transfers, ever, between like 11 a.m. and 2 a.m. unless it's on the day of the deadline. I.e., if it was this morning, then yeah, cool. It's a morning transfer. Honestly, for me, in my opinion, if you're in the UK, if you can stay up till 11 o'clock at night, there is no excuse. It annoys me every time I see someone go, oh, I've made a transfer and it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And in my head, I just want to scream. Always wait. Downstairs, morning, James. To be honest, Daniel, Scout or Ben Dinnery, because there's no point me telling you a certain tabloid, because it might be a different tabloid as the news. Downstairs, morning, James. Great content this week. Thank you. Have already rolled the dice on Pulisic. Now trying to decide which 2 to start from. Justin, Taylor, KWP, Mitchell. McCarthy's my goalkeeper. I wouldn't have said KWP anyway, mate. Taylor and Justin, I think, are your answers there, mate. You could go Mitchell. And OP starts. I suspect PBA's coming in for him, mate. Colin Con on Wildcard. My crap at the back. I have a decision to pick Konsa, but it blocks another villain or double up Villa or double up on Leeds. I have Dallas. Was going to get Ailing. Is this a bad idea? I don't hate double Leeds. I don't hate it, but as good as and as much as I've been impressed with him so far, I don't see many clean sheets burning around. I would only want one personally. I don't have a problem with picking Konsa, if that's the question. Elliot says Ings to Kane and then Aguero on future swing, depending on form, or Ings to Brewster and Bissouma to KDB on fixture swing. Worry about that when you get there. Just get the transfer done. Harry Redmond, excited for Aguero to come back. Did you know his full name is Sergio Kun Alan Gus Aguero? Fun fact. I didn't, Harry. Thanks for that. Shane Mibb, Vardy a doubt. Should he be replaced? I mean, yeah. Look what's coming for Leicester. Arsenal, Leeds, Wolves, Liverpool. It's not a great run. Let's be honest. You've got the doubt. It feels like a good time. Harry Man 7. Should I keep Harvey Barnes or sell? He's playing brilliantly but not getting FPL. No issue with keeping Harvey Barnes. I think that's absolutely fine, mate. JB says, morning, James. Best of luck for the weekend. Thoughts on Leeds defence? Double up. Just literally covered. Azzy. Who do you think will win out of Palace Brighton? I predicted 2-0 Brighton for the patrons yesterday. Brighton should have won that fixture last year. They were by far the better team at Selhurst Park. I don't know how they didn't win. And then they didn't perform well in the home fixture against Palace. If it becomes a football match, Brighton will win the game. They're the better team. If Palace can make it, ugly is unfair. But let's say if they can sit off Brighton and let Brighton play in front of them and accept they're not going to have a lot of the ball and get in and around them and counter on them well, then they can punish Brighton. So, difficult call. I look forward to that one, actually. It's the most fake derby ever. 41 miles between the two clubs. That's a fun fact. Even they can't tell me why they hate each other, but they do. I think Brighton will win. Fancy King's in. Hello, my friend. Good morning. Eric Fordham. Hey, James. Who would you start out? Walker Peters and Lewis. I have both Werner and Rashford, so they all sort of cancel each other out. So I'm confused. Who'd start at the back? Very simple. This one from me, Eric. Just sit back. Which one's more likely to keep a clean sheet? Genuinely. The answer is Newcastle. Fantasy King. Big game week. Is it heart over head with Bale? No, because if it was heart, I wouldn't have any Spurs players. Genuinely, this is on head now. I don't need Bale to add to Son and Kane as some sort of emotional justification. This time yesterday, I had no intention to buy Gareth Bale. It was genuinely assessing my options for a period that I'm going to go without Kevin De Bruyne and know that I will want to go back to Kevin De Bruyne at some point. And then knowing that if I did get the free Spurs, by the time I get to game week 9, I can decide which two, and it will almost be definitely two that I get rid of, and which one stays. And I suspect it will then be Bale or Son that stays rather than Kane, because there's just not captaincy options for Harry Kane between game weeks 9 and 15. And I'm not sure I want to leave him sitting there. If he's going mental and I've got great value in him, I'll probably stick it out. Don't get me wrong. So there's that as well. If these guys perform well, the value will go. Bale's ownership is so ridiculously low. I mean, imagine if he does well tomorrow. Genuinely. I wrote an article for the advanced tier patrons a couple of weeks ago, and I've seen a lot of people saying, well, Bale's more expensive than Son. Let me tell you, Gareth Bale can make a fucking mockery of that 9.5 million price. And it might be we don't even need premium midfielders. If you've got the likes of Bale, Son, Pulisic, Greenwood, imagine a Grealish, imagine they're all going off. And then that allows you to put in like Kane or Aguero regularly up front, go Trent and Robbo defensively. We might even get to a place where the premium midfielders, you look at them and go, fuck me, so many good options around 8-9 million or so. Do I need them? And whether you classify Bale and Son as premiums depends on your interpretation. But I've gone with the possibility of what it could be and not fearing it. So, no, it's a head decision. It's a head decision. Basically, it came down to Bale Pulisic. Knowing I can go back to Grealish, not desperate this week. Bale Pulisic became the decision. And what do I most want to look at for the next few weeks? And it's knowing I don't want to look at Pulisic against Manchester United next week. But I do want to look at that treble up against Burnley. Now, admittedly, Chelsea have good fixtures afterwards, Burnley, Sheffield United. But then at that point, I've already spoken about this. I've got 1.9 million in the bank. I can go further than Pulisic in one move. So I'm likely to come back to Pulisic and add to it. And that's why I've gone for Bale now. Edwin Grand, thank you, James, for these live streams. You're very welcome, mate. Matthew Adshed, on a wildcard, Kilman or a 3.9 defender. Don't need the 0.1 right now. You don't need it now, but you're probably better off it further on. They're all shit. I was kind of secretly hoping that Luca Dean, and I don't wish injury on anyone, but there was a little bit of me wanted Luca Dean to be out for a while because Niels and Cuckoo at 4.0 would have been flying into everybody's wildcard team so quickly. But obviously Luca Dean, and good for him, has been past fit. They're all shit. They're all shit options. So I don't think it matters. Therefore, you might as well go to 3.9. Barry Douglas has moved, I think, to Blackburn yesterday. So he's not the option. The other one's Braithwaite. Braithwaite, by the way, is closer to fitness than Mason Holgate, is my understanding for Everton. But is he going to remove one of, or at least one of Mina, Michael Keane, and obviously Ben Godfrey's added to that now? No, so he's not going to play either. I don't think any of these 4.0 is going to play at the moment. Kilman, I guess in theory, could get some minutes having played against Fulham. I think they took a chance on him because he played against Fulham. Wing-back is certainly not his role, generally speaking. So he's probably the one, Kilman, where if suddenly there were injury issues at Wolves, he could get minutes. So he's probably the best choice. I don't think any of these guys are going to play. Ryan Mullen, Sterling or Son? Sterling for me. Lionel Masbay, hey James, who would you go, Watkins and St. Maximin or Brewster and Trossard? Probably Brewster and Trossard at the moment from a make-up perspective. I think, yeah, I like Trossard. I just don't know if he's going to become one of these players that looks great every week and it never converts to FPL returns. That might be how it ends up looking. Really like him as a player. And if you've got no Brighton coverage, great run. Genuinely, they've got a great run. So Brewster and Trossard for me. You can come back to Watkins if need be. Harry Redmond, will Liverpool versus Everton be a goal fest? Obviously been dire in the past at Goodison. I think it's Everton's best chance of beating them for ages. Last two there have been draws. I'll go draw again. I think it'll probably be 1-1 or so. We are going to have a game week in the next 8. I'm absolutely convinced by this that we'll have less than 20 goals. Oh, fuck. That was the week. Shit, there's only been 17 goals. It'll be like 3-0-0s and stuff like that. How did that just switch up? I'm telling you, it will happen. Murray Mintz, morning James, Harvey Barnes, Foden and James Rodriguez. Which one would you bench? Find a different solution, mate. It's probably Foden from that. Just in the idea that he could get rested. Jared C, thoughts on Mahrez? Yeah, good option. I'm going to put anyone off. You know the risk with Riyad Mahrez, don't need me to tell you. Azzy, have you got any friendly bets on with Suj this week? No, but I will. If we do them one, I may, and my Spurs boys do well in this, I may well skip into that podcast on Monday. Main podcast this week will be Tuesday, by the way, so we can obviously review the Monday night games as well. FPL Bunastart, Che or Adams? Is that the same player, pal? Jack Shepherd, love the content this week, by the way, James. Thanks so much. You're very welcome, mate. Sabisi1, how are you, James? I'm very good, thank you, mate. I'm always good. As long as my little boy's alright, everything in the world is good. Anthony Gridley says, have 4 bullshit weeks to go and balls out. Harvitz as captain. What's that to my camera? Oh, fucking slid off the weld there. Hold on, guys. That's hopefully a bit better. Not that I'll be able to see for 30 seconds or so. Let's have a look. Still shit. There you go. So you can see my pretty face. See my mark on my nose. Fucking geezer bit me. But he didn't bite me intentionally. He went to hug me and I fucking got top tooth right on my nose. Anthony Gridley, have 4 bullshit weeks to go and balls out. Harvard's as captain. Yeah, crack on, mate. FPL SWAT, morning. Suchik numbers at ace. Great value. Reckon this will be the week he bangs. Fucking hope not. But, yeah, I guess he could be. Look, Suchek, because of the way he plays, I've spoken about this before, I don't think the fixtures matter. He's just as likely to score against Tottenham this week as he is against Man City next week. Because the ball goes into wide areas, he goes into box. We saw particularly in the Arsenal game, when they changed system, it didn't influence anything. Ball goes wide, Suchek goes in the box. Look at the goal Antonio scores against Leicester. It's like he's there. If it's a bad header, Suchek's there to tap him in. He's always there. When the ball goes into wide areas, he just goes into the box. He just floats in there. So the key to it is all about, can West Ham win set pieces because he's going to be a threat, and can West Ham get the ball into wide areas? Now, see, this is where it's a two-way street, because you say, okay, so against weaker opposition, they'll have more set pieces and they'll have more of the ball in wide areas. Correct. But guess what? The opposition's probably got more men back as well, right? So when West Ham plays Sheffield United in game week 9, for example, which is after the great fixture against Fulham, Sheffield United have got 3 big fucking centre-halves there who are happy to head the ball. So is Sheffield United at home, which obviously Sheffield United away, sorry, which on paper looks better than obviously playing the 3 upcoming games. Actually, when you put it like that, is that better? Is that better? Imagine, right, at the moment, Suchek in game week 6 getting on a cross in between Diaz and Cole Walker. I'm telling you, it can happen. So I don't think the fixture matters. So, could this week be the week? Yeah, of course it could. Jitesh Jerome, start Dean or Lamptey. I'm loath to leave a defender of that value on the bench. But I'd probably pick Lamptey. Seb Fox, Pulisic has hardly played. He won't be 100% straight off the bat. And exactly the same applies to Gareth Bale and Sergio Aguero as well. It doesn't mean they can't do well. I remember a game in, it's worth saying, guys, about 12 minutes to deadline now. So if you've got questions coming in, there's a good chance I'm not going to get to you. And sorry if I don't get to all of you. But just very quickly, I remember a game in 12-13. Gareth Bale played against Man City. And it's the most unfit I've seen a player play on a football pitch ever in my life. It wasn't in terms of unfit or overweight or anything. It was injured. It was 100% he played the game injured. He should not have played. And Tottenham turned up for 10 minutes and Bale assisted the first and scored the third and we won 3-1. And that's what he's capable of. And I know it. Ray Qureshi, morning James for Sky. I've gone Darlow, Dallas, Conser and Robertson as backline. Faults pal. Obviously I shouldn't compare Gareth Bale 2013 to now. I know that, but let me go. Morning James for Sky. I've gone Darlow, Dallas, Conser and Robertson as backline. Faults pal. Hope your arrows are green. I don't like the Darlow, mate. Really, really don't. because that's a problem waiting to happen. We know Dubravka's had a setback, so you're probably likely to get another 5-6 game weeks of Cole Darlow. There's a transfer waiting to happen, mate. I'm afraid. Not keen on that at all. Others, absolutely fine. Don't swap that and seek a Newcastle defensive option. If you need to, Manquillo is probably the one. But look at the immediate coming up for Newcastle. United, Wolves, Everton, Southampton, Chelsea. That's their next 5. It's one to come back for. Particularly if that Southampton game in game week 8 ends up on a Friday night, mate. Osmar says Bale, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Dominic Calvert-Lewandowski, or Kane and James. Also, Son is in the team. Probably Kane and James for you. Do you need to make both moves now? Can you wait the week extra for Everton? Oscar Featherstone, would you start Brewster over James Rodriguez? No. Kieran Thompson, enjoy the pod. Salah captain for me, I think. Good luck to everyone. Miller Marsh Fernandez because of pens, or Rashford as he may play through the middle. I genuinely think Marcus Rashford is a really interesting differential captaincy choice this week if you own. It would take something unbelievable for me to consider that personally, but if the theory's right that it could be a diamond and he plays through the middle, or even if they stay with the same system and he plays through the middle, it could be interesting. Problem with Newcastle is they ain't easy to get in behind. Tariq Abdullah, Mark, heard you're live with Az. This is obviously for Mark Southerns. I'm on Wildcard. Do you think going Richarlison is a decent differential to Dominic Calvert-Lewin? Similar stats and likely not to score more and on pens? I'll let Mark answer that if you're still in. Downstairs, why do you prefer Son over Salah for captaincy? Because I think Salah's got a higher ceiling than Heung-min Son this week. Mo Salah away to Everton just doesn't scream big to me, personally. And it must be said that Heung-min Son at home to West Ham doesn't scream big either. Sonny obviously assisted Kane in the home game last year and also had a goal disallowed when he was like half a yard offside, so obviously correctly disallowed. He also scored and assisted in the away game against West Ham last year. I don't know if that really counts because Roberto was in goal, but it counts. So Son's record against West Ham's okay as well. Do I prefer Son over Salah? Yes. Yeah, I do. If I had both, armband would go on Son this week. You're welcome, Jack Shepherd. Ahmed, keep Saiss or sell for PVA? Keep? The fuck? Duzatelli, start Podence or Brewster? I'm edging for Brewster right now. Thoughts? Yeah, I don't mind that one so much. Yeah, go with your gut there, mate. J1, you think Jimenez will score? Probably not, no. Two good home fixtures afterwards, Newcastle and Palace. Jimenez consistency, it's any game, any time. Jimenez always scores when you don't expect him to, so now I've said that, hopefully he scores on Monday. Sasa Simic, Sterling to Salah for a hit, thanks. Nah, mate. Anthony Gridley, if you could have 5 players from any team, would you have 5 Spurs? No, I would no interest in any other Spurs players. Like, I wouldn't even want them defensively at the moment. If I wanted one, it'd be Dyer for the security of the starts, but he's got a tight hamstring. Reguilon could be a really decent asset, but I'm not certain that he's locked in yet. I know he's first choice, don't get me wrong, but we've obviously got Europa League games coming up and stuff. Is it viewed? I wonder if there's a little bit of viewing with Spurs, the idea of let's get that Europa League group point sorted and then worry about rotation in that competition later on. So it could be that fatigue, etc. I wouldn't be surprised, for example, if Reguilon plays on Sunday and on Thursday, and then Ben Davies played against Burnley. That's what I'm saying. That sort of thing wouldn't surprise me. So defensively at the moment, no, not for me. I couldn't say anything there felt safe. If he played every game, Serge Aurier would be the best one. Patrick Buffer, Sterling versus Son captain. We seem to have avoided captain questions this week, which is really nice. Clues bottom right of the screen, my friend, in terms of my opinion on that. Tom Don 13 got Kane, Son and Bale, a fellow Spurs fan, but thinking of Salah captain. Is that too middle ground? Should I go all in and captain? Yeah, fucking all in, Tom. Anna says, who to captain with Son, Kane and Salah? It's on the screen, mate. Nasu, how do you see the Spurs game going? Think West Ham will play deep, giving no chance for you to counter-attack? Yeah, a lot of the key, and we don't speak about this enough, and I think it's going to become quite a bit of terminology in football in the next few months or years is counter pressing. An understandable terminology that people understand. So the trick here is to counter West Ham's counter with a counter attack. That's the trick. But Son, Bale, Kane can all score from distance, etc. So expect the odd shot to be getting popped off. It's important that Spurs work West Ham. I think the game will start quite tight. I suggested on our Tottenham podcast I did with Suj early in the week, don't be surprised if 15 minutes into the game you think, oh, West Ham are playing well here. Don't be surprised by that, and Spurs just slowly grind in a bit of dominance. I think it'd be low scoring. 2-1 Spurs was the prediction I went for. Miller Marsh, bench Souček or Brewster? Ooh, grim. I got to take a chance on Brewster this week, I think, ain't you? With that particular scenario. But I wouldn't be having Brewster over the likes of Hamez's and Harvey Barnes and stuff like that. Nah. But on that one, yeah, take a chance. Edward Adai, Son and Kane in team, would that be great? Why wouldn't it be great? Harryman7, should I keep Harvey Barnes or sell? He's playing brilliantly but not getting FPL points. I think I already had that one and answered. Planting Seeds, morning James, mate. Is this the best you've ever seen Son? His finish against United Southampton were clinical. The great thing about Sonny, and I've got to start powering through these quick fire. When he gets there, you never feel like he's going to miss. Eric says, why DCL out? He's not out. Don't put something like that in the chat. It concerns people, particularly this late to deadline. I haven't sold him. I just never fucking had him. FPL Warrior says, hello Archie, hey mate, hope you're well. Dreco, Ziyech, Pulisic or Havertz, Pulisic. Archie, what we saying about Pulisic? Good option. So how would you go Trent or Robbo on Wildcard? Don't like to double up personally. They're first and second on my team sheet every week, mate. I do not give a monkeys. They will stay. Anaj says, do you think it's worth taking -4 points to bring Kane in for Jimenez or take out Che Adams for Morpay? Ooh, I like Che Adams for Morpay move, must say. Mr. Chills, what is your Sky team looking like? Let me come back to that after the deadline. I'm happy to go through it. Edward Adai, captain choice Kane or Son. It's on the screen, mate. FPL. Thoughts on a 3-5-2 on Wildcard when there are lots of good forward options but means you have a power. Yeah, that's the way I'd be going if I was Wildcarding now. Tariq Abdullah, I'm on Wildcard. Do you think going Richarlison is a decent differential to DCL? Yes, absolutely fine. Tariq Abdullah, I'm on Wildcard. You once was enough, pal. Luke Hopkinson, morning James. Start Ayling or Podence. Fuck you know. Podence. Tough call though. Toss a coin. Mud says Greenwood or Rashford MBE. The guy with the MBE. Shimon says, do you think Ziyech will start? No. Jamie, Region or Semedo? By default, probably Semedo at the moment. Avinash, would Reece James play? Don't know. Don't pick the team, mate. Nasu, which two would you play? Bissouma, Taylor, Mitchell or Justin? Taylor and Justin. Tarek, you've done that one. Afsel, Podence to Barkley next week. Let's worry about next week. Steve says, Souček out for Zaha. Keep Souček, mate. Laz 1AL, Walker Peters or Dallas. I've got Lamptey in my team. Dallas. Narcy, will Bell start? I think so. 85% I'll put it at. Anand, Chilwell or Semedo? Semedo. PMCG. Apollos have already covered, but start Reece James or Dallas. If you've got Reece James, play Reece James, is my opinion. Chilwell or Semedo, I've judged out on which one are you buying. If you've got both, start Chilwell. Has been says, is Vardy injured? Will he start? Don't know. Don't pick the team. Yes, he's doubtful. Sports fan 27. Wilson or Morpay for me. Umar H, do you think United will bounce back? Yes, but I think it's going to take a while. Irfan says Salah or Mane for KDB as -8 as captain. Already have Robbo and TAA. Mane as differential. I really don't mind that at all, mate. Pick your personal preference. It won't be a lot between them. Barry M, Reece James starting over Lamps, dressing down. I don't know what you're saying there, Barry, but yeah, it probably does play. William Jones, sorry James, we're starting Reece James. Is Lamptey okay as first sub? Also Brewster may have put him second sub just in case Reece James is bench. Hope this makes sense. It's all good, mate. FPL roasted. Any problem with Watkins captain? No problem with it, but it's probably better options. Asika Jordan, wow, I'm on Bell and Kane too for -8. Let's go. No more mental health protection then. No, it's all gone out the window, mate. Random junkie, Werner or Grealish? If I was buying one, Grealish. If I want to captain one, it's Werner. Al Dante says, triple Spurs, nice. Mahesh, keep Dean or take a hit for Chilwell? Keep at the moment. I don't think you should hit that out. FPL, do you think Saiss is good on a wild card? Does he like to keep his place? Probably yes, to be honest. He should keep his place. Emmanuel says, Grealish or Pulisic for this game week? Just for this game week, Pulisic. I'll take a chance. Fan. Mane's differential versus Salah. Captain him over Son. It's okay. Omar, Suchik or Ayling? Would have to be Ayling because I've got Ayling first sub, and Jamie says Region or Semedo. Ian Walsh, love the stream lad, on a -4. Fernandes to Salah for -8 to leave till next week. Captaining Kane. Leave till next week. Yusuf says Watkins captain. Don't hate it. Connor topping. Son or Kane for captain. It's on the screen. You don't need to waste the capital letters, mate. Venky P. Still have Aubameyang, Mitrovic and Vardy in the team. Who would you take out this game week? Fucking hell. Aubameyang. Prioritise. Get that money sorted. Excuse me, somewhere else. Swid says, morning James, hope you're well. Twiz, come back to me on the Sky question because we're about 2 minutes to deadline. Obviously, we can do Sky afterwards. Gamil Justin, hey mate, I need to bench one of Rodriguez, Jimenez, Grealish or Maupay. What do you reckon? It's killing me. Find a different solution. Bench one of the defensive guys, mate. Or you've got too much money invested in that front line. Way too much. You don't want to be benching any of them. Genuinely, that's ruthless. You can't bench any of them, I'm telling you. Find a different solution. Start Maupay or Grealish says name. It's the same thing. You can't leave either of them out this week, mate. FPL Glesso, what time is Sky deadline? What is your KDB replacement? KDB replacement is Jimenez, essentially. I'll come on to it. Sky deadline is kickoff, Everton Liverpool. I make it 11 o'clock, guys. Do make sure your FPL teams are locked in. Don't forget. Right, lots of nonsense and similar questions. Got Nishkal, who's he's put the same question in 4 times. And all you had to do was look at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, mate. Nathan Ayres said you need a breather after these rapid-fire questions. Gameston 12. I don't pick the Wolves team, so I don't know, mate. Al Dante says, Palace, got Butler now. Are you going Martinez, Sky? No. So my Sky team. I'm still going Gator. I think it's safe. I think it's safer than Cole Darlow, for example. He should be all right. I think for that to change, Gator would need a serious loss of form or injury, and then Butler could stay in. But if he gets injured, I'll be taking him out anyway. So Gator in goal. Lamptey, Dallas, Van Dijk, back 3. Midfield, very reluctantly, is Bruno Fernandes. So reluctant that I'm now sticking the armband on him today. Grealish, Mikel Antonio, and who's the other fucking one I got? Grealish, Antonio, Bruno Fernandes. Oh, Christian Pulisic. Up front, Heung-min Son, Harry Kane, Raul Jimenez. That's the team that I'm going with. The plan with that is to captain Jimenez for 3 games. Sell him for Kevin De Bruyne after Wolves play Crystal Palace. I've got the benefit of the Manchester City team news because it's 12:30 PM against Sheffield United. Remember, guys, we're talking about Sky FPL, guys. You can switch off if you like. And obviously, if De Bruyne's not back by then I've got alternative plans, Calvert-Lewin, Danny Ings, different ways I can go with that to make that change. Then I'll look at moving Kane or Son to KDB, probably game week 9 when the 2 teams play each other. That would be the thinking at the moment. So, I'm happy to hang around that's my Sky team. I'm happy to hang around for 5-10 minutes or so. If anyone's got any Sky issues that they want to ask questions with, or any general football questions, I'm happy to sit here for 5-10 minutes and go through them with you. But if you only came for the FPL, thanks very much, guys. Have a very good game week. Good luck. P.S. Doherty, why do you have Wood? Would you not get Watkins or Maupay? I have Chris Wood because he's been there since game week 1, mate. And the idea is to sell him for Neil Maupay next week. My team, because of the 3 Spurs guys, might look like a fucking wild card. It ain't. Nathan Ayres says, Merseyside prediction. I'm going 1-1. Nathan. I think I wouldn't be surprised if Everton beat them. I've got a brilliant chance today. But it must be said, the return of Mane, Henderson and possibly Thiago is monster big for Liverpool. Essentially then they're full strength by the goalkeeper. So that's going to change things up. One really interesting tactical thing to watch on today in that game, I think, is the role of Richarlison. Because in this fixture last year, what happened was without the ball, essentially, I think Iwobi played left midfield. And this happened late in the game against Brighton as well, where he basically went into a left-back position and they played with a flat 5 when they didn't have the ball, and then reverted to a 4 when in possession. And I'm really interested to see if that happens to Richarlison today. I don't think it weakens him as can he return or not. That's why I didn't mention it during the period, because I know me mentioning this would put people off. Oh, Richarlison at left back. No, because it's all about how Everton counter is what's important. And obviously when they have the ball, he'll still be high. So it's not like he'll be playing left back. It's a really interesting tactical feature to probably watch out for on that game today, actually. Kieran Thompson says, another weekend of goals flying in or teams have tightened up over international break. I expect it to calm. And it might not be this week, because teams, obviously because of international stuff, haven't had long to train on things. There'll be certain clubs, Burnley, Sheffield United, majority of the squads, obviously they can probably train with Newcastle, perhaps another one. But even these guys, like Sir John Egan, Jamal Lewis, have had people away and stuff. It's just not easy. So it probably won't be this week. Do I think the goals will calm down? I really said there's going to be a week comes up in the next 4 game weeks where we're probably all going to have an average of about 30, 35 and there'll be no fucking goals. And all the rage after, oh my God, do we need premium defenders? Especially, we love it that week if like Trent and Robbo get 12 points and there's no fucking goals during that week. On which everyone, oh my God, we need to change template. Oh, Laporte got a 15-pointer. Do we need to get Man City as well? And the template will shift, etc. And it will become a question at some point in the next 4 weeks or so. I'm convinced of it. John O'Neill, thanks James, you're welcome mate. Peter G, Sky, why did you go for Bruno, no Everton Rodriguez? So the reason I've gone for Bruno is part of my makeup plan, Peter, was to get Bruno Fernandes for when United play West Brom in game week 9, which are no Saturday fixtures, so I got no gain on it. I also am really struggling with my captaincy today, and looking at putting him in, I think, yeah, do you know what, it's Bruno Fernandes, and in Sky he's probably the best option. So I'm going to captain Bruno today. I'm not in love with those next 3 fixtures. I'm also not in love with the choice between Calvert-Lewin or James Rodriguez this week. It's a great fallback option for me for any issues that I walk into, be it injury. It's also the fallback to if KDB's not fit. It's probably DCL that I'll go to, but it depends on where that Southampton-Newcastle fixture falls in game week 8, I think. So I'm not massively big on it, to be honest. I'm not big. Would I rather have Calvert-Lewin than Jimenez or Rodriguez over Jimenez, generally speaking? Yes, I would. But the 3 Wolves captaincies, plus it's also the makeup of going, I need something different. I can't just pick from fucking 11 teams. I need some double up somewhere is the decision I've made. And at the moment it's taking the fixtures on Spurs. It might be that I get to game week 9 and I have no Spurs, by the way, in which case an Everton player is almost certainly going to be in there. So that's the decision I made. I also look at people like Grealish and I think not the best run, but I definitely want him. Mikel Antonio, it's a bad 3 fixtures, but I definitely want him. Because he's playing OOP, right? And he's hitting shot tiers as a midfielder. So, that's the decision I've made. Pulisic is a punt. I know it could go wrong, but if Pulisic goes well today, beyond Manchester United, and I spoke about this a bit more for FPL, game week 7 to 9, Burnley, Sheffield United, Newcastle is quite exciting for Christian Pulisic potentially, so that's why he's there. So you can't have them all. So the sacrifice at the moment is no Everton. Trust me, if I get any player injured this week, it'd be a fucking Everton player coming in next week. I'm fairly certain of that. That's the most likely thing to happen. Unless the injury is today, in which case I'll probably take the advantage of the extra fixture somewhere else. But if I got someone pulls out next Friday, then I'll probably buy an Everton player before they play Southampton. So very much on my radar. That's the reason for going without. I don't see the captaincy that I want from them until the Fulham game in game week 9. And even that depends where the fixtures fall, to be honest. Because like Liverpool have Brighton that week, Man City have Burnley. So it might be there's not even a captaincy. So it could be that I have James or Calvert-Lewin and I'm not captaining them for fucking ages. It might be that I wouldn't captain them at all this year. That's a possibility, I think, with Everton assets. And that's why I'm going without for the time being. Right. Oh, that fucking went on a bit on that one, didn't I? Name Stevens, thanks James. Another top stream, went with Bale in the end. Good luck, pal. Mission Tool, Sky captain plans for next 3 game weeks. Okay, so it's Fernandes today. Kane tomorrow. I'll decide Monday, Patricio Ayling, when I've seen the teams. It's very close. What am I talking about? I've got fucking Jimenez. Raul Jimenez Monday. Next Friday night, Jack Grealish against Leeds. Following Saturday, I think I'll probably go Van Dijk against Sheffield United. Then Kane on the Sunday again against Brighton. I've got the Jimenez game, isn't I? I missed the fucking day because Tottenham on Monday. Sorry. Jimenez against Newcastle on the Sunday. Kane against Burnley on the Monday. Then Jimenez on the Friday. Then potentially move to KDB, at which point I'll make a choice between VVD, KDB. Then Kane on the Sunday again against... Who the fuck are we playing then? West Brom. And then there's Leicester, Leeds, isn't it? It's not even that, is it? Spurs against Brighton, Kane. I'm not explaining this very well, am I? Leicester, Leeds. I'll just have Dallas at the moment. Then, obviously, we don't know the fixtures for game week 8. But it's planned in, as I've said previously, to get in perhaps Danny Ings if Southampton, Newcastle's a Friday night. If not, I will have cover. Any other fixture turns up on that Friday, and there's 4 possibilities, I'll have the cover. So that's the one I need cover for, Southampton, Newcastle, which is probably the reason I keep mentioning it. Saturday, it's probably Antonio, West Ham against Fulham. Kane definitely on the Sunday against West Brom. But there's fullbacks there. Liverpool, City playing each other. Chelsea, home to Sheffield United's not too bad. So it depends where they fall in game week 8. I suspect game week 8 for me and in the captaincies, I think it's going to fall Ings, Antonio, Kane. So to clarify, I'm Bruno, Kane, Jimenez, Grealish, Van Dijk, Jimenez, Kane, Jimenez, KDB or VVD, Kane, Dallas, question, Antonio, Kane. That's the planned captaincies for the first 4 game weeks. The Broski, you think Bale will start today? Absolutely no chance, mate. But tomorrow, you never know your luck. Adi Toys, Mane, a good option in Sky. Of course he is, mate. Be great differential. Everyone else is going to Salah. FPL, do you think the goal fest is down to forwards having less pressure from crowds? Is it more about rusty defenders? I just think conversion rate's high at the moment. And it's abnormally high. And it will come down. And that's it. Venky P, thanks mate. Snuck in Aubameyang to Grealish and Mitrovic to Kane. Nice. The side was enough to get me to pull the trigger right in under the wire. Another hoops. Time to tinker with our Champ Man teams. Now it's live. Massive shout out to the guys obviously doing that. Announcements. I've got one coming up. As I'm not doing the streams. That's not the fucking announcement. But I have something I'll put on Twitter during this week that you guys can keep an eye out for that as well. But yeah, really looking forward to the restart of that. I'll be involved, just not the way I was involved before. DewXC241, I captained Abraham. What do you think? Oh, amazing, mate. Brilliant. Swizz says, hi, James. For Sky FF, who do you reckon is their best straight KDB replacement for 5 games to after City Liverpool? It's between Rodriguez, VVD, Fernandes, I think. We ain't going to sell Fernandes because he's then walking into 3 good fixtures, so it's not him. That's why I like the Jimenez to KDB path that I'm taking, because it's the right time to move on off of Jimenez after the 3 captaincies. He's generally not a great Sky asset. If I get 3 captaincies out of him and he's the best choice on all of them, then that's the way I'm going to go. So I'd possibly rethink that, to be honest, and look at getting KDB in for the fixture against Sheffield United in game week 7. Kieran Thompson, is there a Planet FPL UCL League? Kieran, there will be for my patrons, mate. Al Dante says Pulisic and Fernandes can be sold by tomorrow's deadline. Is that a Sky question, mate? I mean, look, you shouldn't. If it's a Sky question, you shouldn't be planning in transfers for tomorrow. DuXC241, yeah, I got that once already, mate. He's asking, what does everyone think? Please don't respond to that. Chili Wonka. No offence, pal. I hope for you that he plays. Put it that way. Chili Wonka, you guys will regret for not captain Havertz. Wait and see, fam. All right, mate. We're living in regret. Paxton Pinto, Havertz. Ha 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 ha. They're now having beef. I guess that's what you call it these days, isn't it? Unbelievable Jeff. Hi, James. Great content as always. Thank you. What's your favourite Spurs memorabilia? Mine has to be my signed Freddie Canute and Defoe photos. Good luck this game week. It's my picture of me with Ledley, which is normally sitting right next to me, but I can't see it at the moment. But yes, my picture of me and Ledley, I would say. But my most prized is my memories. Mosh, this is my captain is Vardy. Good luck with that. Harun Mohammed, what do you think of Jorginho, Rodriguez, Salah and Son midfield? I don't think it matters, mate, because I think the deadline's passed. Mosh, Champman is up live. If it's live, I'm unaware, but it might have happened this morning. But I don't think it is yet. ShadXW, what do you think of Bamford captain? I think that's okay, if that's what you think. It wouldn't be my choice. It'd probably be about 34th on my list of priorities. Peter G, thanks for Sky explanation. No problem. Matt Hall, good luck this week, buddy. Al Dante says, low. Let's talk FPLs in. Andy, great jump on Black Box last night. Well done, mate. Your boys better deliver. I'm now tripled up with Region. That's your fucking fault, mate. Basically, your boys shouldn't have rolled over and got beat 6-1 in game week 4 and made us look so fucking good. And on that bombshell, that'll end the stream. Very, very best of luck, everybody. Enjoy the game week. Sky guys, remember to lock in your captains, etc. For the FPL players, do not worry about your weekend. The deadline has gone. Enjoy some football this weekend. Content next week, People's Poll Monday. I suspect this is probably going to be about Project Big Picture and our thoughts on it. Now we know that it's not happening. That'll probably be one of the options. I suspect it will win the vote. Tuesday main podcast, reviewing obviously all of this particular game week. Sky again on Wednesday. Clash of Correspondence Thursday is at Turfy Topper. Ricky Saunders 77. Burnley v Tottenham. Get Ricky's opinion on Tottenham and I'll try and shut the fuck up. And we get Jack's opinion on Burnley, who, should they not win on Monday, it's been a grim start to say the least. But Burnley are capable once they sort themselves out. We'll find out what's happening. Keen to ask Jack as well what he thinks of the lack of signings, because they've done nothing. Friday, I don't know what I'm going to do yet with the Ask James stream. Probably the most likely thing is I will probably do it for half hour or so and just do it in the morning. That's probably the most likely, because I believe our game week deadline next week is... It's obviously Friday night. I just want to check what time the kickoff is. Is it 8 o'clock? Oh, of course, you can't fucking see because your game's fucking shut down. How fucking handy. Anyway, I don't know what time the deadline is. I think it's 8 o'clock. If it's 8 o'clock, then I'll stream from 5:30. If it's 7:45, I'll probably stream from 5 or 5:15. I don't know what time the Friday kickoff is at the moment. Actually, I think on reflection it might be 7:45. In which case, I'll do 5:15 or 5 o'clock. And we'll do Ask James earlier. Patrons, 5 additional podcasts for you this week, including Q&A Monday, extended look back on Tottenham v West Ham on Tuesday. Wednesday is probably likely to be a patrons poll for you. I need to have a think about topics. Thursday be quiz. I need to decide on the theme. And Friday be differential show, which will be particularly important, as obviously that'll be straight before deadline. We'll try and record that for you early on Friday. That's it, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks very much for tuning in. Drop the video a like on your way out. I never say that sort of thing, but I get slagged off for not saying it. So drop the video a like. Give the Old Planet FPL a subscribe. If you want to support me in my career, you know where Patreon is. 5 additional podcasts every week from intermediate tier. Very best of luck, guys. Have a great weekend. Speak soon. Ciao for now.